It's the 10th of June, and this is Greg Shapiro's United States of Europe, bridging the gap between boring EU politics and stuff you might really care about. Basically a few news jokes and then an interview with someone impressive. This week, EU legal correspondent Gosia Krakowska. And now it's time for me, your host, Greg Shapiro. Hi, everybody. Welcome to this week's United States of Europe. And I am Greg Shapiro, the American Netherlander, American European, and executive comedian, giving the EU the respect they deserve by making fun of them just like anybody else. This week, we'll try to make sense of a lot of news that happened last week, the G7 summit, the D-Day memorial, as well as some D-Day kind of summit action on the sides. And what else? Yeah. Getting me into position. That's good. Okay. And also, the European Central Bank had their big summit last week. Hello. And so a lot of predictions and follow-up that we can do with last week. Let's start with some news. Right. Just checking. There's a lot of laughter going on in the control booth. I'm glad. This is as close as we get to a live studio audience. So, Jeremy's happy? Good, here we go. European, American, and Russian leaders wrapped up a week of war remembrance and summit talks, agreeing that World War II must never again allowed to happen on European soil. The week last week ended with President Obama committing $1 billion to Eastern Europe in added weapons, apparently with the logic that if World War II would happen again, they'll have all the tools they need. French President François Hollande added that Europe was also not looking for a replay of the Cold War. This was on the same day that France sold 2 state-of-the-art warships to Russia. Indeed, with so many countries dealing so many weapons to each other, it's really not. It's neither like the Cold War, nor like World War II. It's a lot more like World War I for the World War I buffs out there. In politics, after far-right gains, that was the map of crazy alliances in World War I. Indeed. Let's get to European parliamentary politics. Of course, after the far right made their big gains in EU voting, politicians such as Marine Le Pen are attempting to create a permanent parliament coalition, this time based on the idea of Europe's fundamentally Christian identity. The chances of the coalition succeeding are about as healthy as the 800 babies found last week under a Christian nunnery in Ireland. And last week, the International New York Times had a front page article on the Netherlands' Groningen gas fields, which supply about 30% of all European production. On the same page was an article about the EU's lack of consensus on Russia due to issues of energy security. In other words, Groningen, get ready for more earthquakes. In international news, Pope Francis has announced plans to intervene in the Israeli-Palestinian conflict to bring the teachings of the Bible to the Mideast peace process. These include the teachings of the Book of Revelations, in which the Hebrews take ownership of all Israel so that Jesus can return and send all disbelievers to eternal damnation. And in economic news, expectations were high from the European Central Bank last week at their summit meeting to stimulate the Eurozone economy. Mario Draghi, the president, took the almost unprecedented move of lowering the euro interest rate to the point that they're basically paying you to loan money, instantly earning the Italian central banker the title of worst loan shark ever. Europe's economists continue to debate and whether there should be a label of Europe's economy. Are we undergoing deflation, lowflation, or stagflation? Well, according to British stag parties, based on their sexual performance after an evening of drugs and drinking, stagflation really is the most accurate description. Coming up next, we have a very special guest from the University of Amsterdam, and we'll talk to her right after this short break.
I'm Nate from the What's Up Amsterdam TV show on Salto 1. Join us every Monday at 6 p.m. where we're going to talk to the city's best comedians, musicians, bloggers, restaurateurs, about all the great stuff that makes Amsterdam awesome. So join me, Nate Titer, every Monday night at 6 p.m. on Salto 1 for What's Up Amsterdam TV. What's Up Amsterdam? Anything good is right here. Ah, shit, my burgers!
We are back here with the United States of Europe. I'm Greg Shapiro, and as promised, this week we are talking to our special guest, and she is someone that I have met on the previous project behind Dutch headlines. Gosia Krakowska is here. Hi.
Hi.
Hi. I'm introducing you as primarily a student from the University of Amsterdam. But also the chairwoman of the Alibi, Alibi, the law magazine. And like you're saying, you're trying to connect the issues of European rule of law to the sort of everyday matters of EU citizens. And that's what we're doing here on the show as well. So welcome.
Thank you.
Yes,
Thank you for inviting me.
I'm gonna stick it right up there. Good.
Okay.
You were nervous, I know, because I don't know if you can tell, but English is not your native language. You're a true European in that sense. You're multilingual. So, what is your native language?
Polish.
Oh, Polish. Okay. So, like you're saying, so you spent time growing up there.
Yes.
And then you came over here to study.
Yes, correct.
And how long have you been studying now?
It's been 8 years already.
8 years. Okay. Are you one of these Eastern Europeans that's basically coming over here
To get a social benefit?
I don't know, either to steal my job?
I think Mark Rutte studied 8 years as well. I think,
Okay.
So I'm safe, right?
It sounds like that's not the first time you've had to say that line. That's a keeper. But no, that is. But so what? You've been studying undergrad and what? 4 years of
Hebrew and law.
And Hebrew as well.
Yes.
Okay, that's an interesting connection, which I don't know if we'll have time for today. But you've spent time in Israel as well.
Yeah.
Looking up roots, I believe, or
Looking up roots, getting the country, learning the language.
Wow.
Living different life, getting more experiences, traveling.
Yeah. Wow. You've had a lot of experience so far. But tell me more about the magazine, I guess. Let's talk about Alibi, the magazine. How long have you been busy with that project?
Since 2012,
Okay.
I've approached former chairwoman Daniela with an advice. We should go viral. We should go online with the Alibi, and let me try to contribute by writing a monthly column in English, that we can attract more viewers through the website and gain more popularity for the magazine for the law school.
Right.
And we just gave it a chance, and it went right away. Later on she told me, would you like to be web editor? So I said, okay, fine, I'm going to be web editor.
Yeah, web editor. And then now you're the chair.
Now I'm the chair.
So do you have a sort of a mission for the new, it's the Amsterdam Law School magazine, yes? And we were talking before about how you're trying to make these sort of high-minded rule of law issues more approachable, not just for law students, but for everyone.
For everyone, yeah. Well, the problem with law is that it's boring.
It's terrible.
For most of people. Majority of people don't want to read it. Even I have problems when I'm reading the journals.
You're
with
doing
all the
a great
essays.
job.
8, 9, 10 pages of provisions, that's enough. So what we decided to do, we decided to cut that. We want to endorse the way of writing that it's more reader-friendly,
Yeah.
more student-friendly,
Yeah.
and promote law as a less boring,
Got it.
dual
Yeah.
discipline.
One of the people you had on the cover was Neelie Kroes, I think.
Yes.
And you were telling me before about how, one of these competition, sort of competitiveness issues in the EU is actually getting to be a kind of a day-to-day issue for a lot of people. I don't know if you've ever taken a taxi in Amsterdam, for example, but
In Leidseplein or 12?
sure. I mean, if you can find someone and find someone who actually knows their way around, and someone who's not going to either try to rip you off or beat you up, that's what we're talking about. Now, there are these alternative new startups, these apps like Uber, for example. But now you were talking about how Uber is banned. This alternative taxi service is being banned in what, Germany, Spain, and France. So how can that happen? And is that a rule of law issue?
Well, this is a ridiculous issue because we're both in European Union, and paradoxically, Germany and France are the founding fathers of the EU and the internal market.
Yeah.
I will just tell you what is internal market. It means that there is a free market of goods, services, and people. That's why we can, for example, work freely without permit. For example, I can work now at booking.com.
Okay.
Without a problem of getting a work permit, I can just work freely.
Right.
And pay my tax.
And pay your tax, right?
Just like
and study for 8 years, just like Mark Rutte did.
Yeah, exactly.
And get a job in a multinational like Unilever, just like Rutte did. Fair enough. Yeah, good.
So it's very sad to observe that nobody obeys these rules now in nowadays Europe.
You mean
and
the
markets are becoming still being very protectionist of their own national interest. So that's kind of weird thing to see. If we would like to get to the level of United States one day, we should abandon that protectionist policy and endorse more economic and innovation-friendly environment.
Before the show, I didn't realize how closely you would adhere to the theme of the show, but that's basically what's happening organically, I swear. What happens now? I mean, when individual countries, Germany and France, for example, who are supposed to be setting the example, they start getting protectionist and they say, Uber, you can no longer run your alternative taxi service in these countries. What role does the EU have in, do they step in? Is that Neelie Kroes who does that? Or,
The problem with that is that Neelie Kroes is EU commissioner, and EU Commission unfortunately has no power in endorsing you. They can offer. They can come up with a legislation.
Right. And try to put that through the European Parliament.
But European Parliament, as soon as it gets to European Parliament, they lose all the control and they can really observe how it's being changed.
Although, let's see. I mean, we were talking about Neelie Kroes earlier in previous episodes. Neelie Kroes is a Dutch woman who has gone on to the European Commission. I believe her title is...
European Commissioner for the Digital Agenda portfolio nowadays.
And to increase competition, basically to crack down on monopolies. And everything that we learn is good when we're playing Monopoly, or as the Dutch say, Monopoly. That's bad at the European level. They're maybe cracking down on Google, privacy laws or whatever, Facebook, Microsoft, and also, governments when they want to ban competition. So, again, there's only so much they can do, but like you're saying, maybe we're on this trend, or is it a slippery slope toward a more federal powers for this sort of Brussels government? We'll get back to that in just a moment and maybe try to figure out a little bit more about the rule of law in picking the new EU Commission president. But can you come back right after a quick break?
Sure.
All right. Are you ready for a quick break? We'll be right back after. Right. That was only 30 seconds.
Okay, well,
So I'm just
that
wondering,
was
what do you want to talk
fast.
about?
Oh my God.
We were talking, I don't know, briefly about politics in the old country, in Poland. And do you go back to Poland a lot?
Oh, my Polish mother.
Okay. And where does she live?
She would prefer to see me every day. Coming back
yeah.
there, of course.
Yeah.
And I come from the West.
Okay. And
I graduated my high school in Poznań, a great city.
Oh, yeah.
I invite everybody there.
is that how you say it, Poznan?
Poznań, yes.
Oh, okay, cool. And
Like ni, like in Spanish, you have ni, niño.
okay.
So it's the same vowel.
Oh, nie, Poznań.
Poznań.
Poznań. Okay, got it. Sorry.
Very good.
I'll do my best.
You're also talent Nobel.
Is that right? Okay, I guess that's a good thing.
Good.
Dobra.
Dobra.
Okay,
See?
all right.
Well, it's already third language, yeah?
I'm working on it. It's funny. I mean, we were talking before about the stigma of all these Eastern Europeans coming over here and taking jobs. Meanwhile, I know a couple of Dutch people who have been going to Warsaw looking for work because not that many job opportunities here. But
It's a
at any rate,
paradox.
no, we were talking about some of the far right parties and how they are. They're here in the Netherlands, in Poland as well. You've got, oh God, what's the guy? Janusz.
Korwin-Mikke.
That's the one. And he has famously said, well, I might as well turn the parliament building into a brothel. Fine. But like you were saying, when people get to the European Parliament, what's going to happen?
That's the point is in these protest parties who
Yeah.
gained a lot of who did quite well as expected in
Yeah.
these European elections is that often voters see them, sorry for the colloquialism, freaks.
Yeah.
That we can
Well, let's
get
call them
rid
freaks.
of,
Sure.
go to Brussels and be there and stay away from
here
my country.
You've got Geert Wilders who wants to take the a parliamentary seat in Europe and keep his parliamentary seat in Den Haag. We should just say, hey, go to Europe. Is that your advice?
And do volunteering in Dutch Tweede Kamer for free.
and do the
What about
volunteering.
that?
Sure.
I think it's great.
Yeah,
you know?
okay, we can try that. We're running out of time here. Hold on.
Oh, that was fast.
Do you have an opinion on the rule of law and the European Commission president? Because we have a kind of a dangerous situation here where Jean-Claude Juncker is basically the leading candidate. He was just chosen officially. He got the official backing of Mutti Merkel. Angela Merkel, I think just today or yesterday, said, sure, Juncker is my man. But now you've got other guys, Cameron, Mark Rutte, saying, we don't want that. So do you think Juncker's going to be the next EU Commission president, or do we have a rule of law issue on our hands?
He might be a good candidate for these countries because, well, he comes from Luxembourg.
Yeah.
It's a very small place.
Okay.
Nobody has a conflict with Junckers.
Okay.
He's pretty okay with most of the members of parliament. And he's quite skilled and competent. So I believe he's a good candidate.
A ringing endorsement. That's about all the time we have. Thank you, Gosia Krakowska from the Alibi magazine from the University of Amsterdam. And if we want to find out more, you can check the links on the YouTube page. And that's it for this week. Thanks, guys, for watching. Thank you to So Damn Local. I'm Greg Shapiro, and see you next week.
Thanks.